with a reminder that it's getting late to vote early. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a choice. Oh! Mayhem in studio. As we tape this, it's early, so we really do not know any election outcomes, so keep that in mind. But we can have a thoughtful conversation anyway, and then we'll talk to Prager, who's just one of the sweetest, most delightful guys ever. Just love that guy. And then we'll do some news with Mayhem. Okay, so here's where we're at as far as I can tell, and I'm glad you're here because I've been saying safe spaces and octagons for a long time. And safe spaces and octagons came about because Dr. Drew, who's been sitting with me for coming on 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Has seen many of my predictions come to fruition.
Yes, we all have.
He's seen the 1996-97 version of Why is Bruce Jenner turning into a chick? Oof. When everyone would look at me and go, what are you talking about? He's the world's greatest athlete. I go, he's turning into a chick. And they'd all look at me and go, what do you mean? I go, he's turning into a chick. And they'd go, what does that mean? Because he wasn't doing anything back then.
Yeah.
But to me, I could see something on him.
Yeah.
He was there many years ago when I used to say, dogs, they sniff out gunpowder at the airport and backyard fruit at the border and fentanyl. Why can't they sniff cancer? And everyone looked at me like, what are you talking about? I go, well, they can smell everything. Yeah. Everything has a smell. Train them to sniff cancer. 15 years later, they got cancer-sniffing dogs. So I just get to things before they happen.
Yeah.
It's not...
it's a byproduct of your hypervigilance.
It's that and kind of looking at which way the wind is blowing and trying to realize where we're going here. So years ago, Drew is... Everyone else either wants me to shut up or think I'm lucky. Drew actually taps in and goes, well, this guy knows something, so I should ask him stuff about where things are going. And a decade ago, I don't know, 8 years ago, he said, where are we heading? Where are we heading here? I said, safe spaces and octagons. He said, what does that mean? I said, well, look, you live in California, it's a safe space. You don't like the safe space? You move to Florida. That's where the octagon is. That's where you got the guys with the trucks and the businesses and like to go shooting on the weekends. Yeah, but not a free-for-all in a necessarily chaotic way.
Yeah.
Just I would like some autonomy. I own land. I don't want to have to go downtown and suck some bureaucrat's cock to get a permit to put a deck on the back of my land. I just want to build it myself. And by the way, how do we know it's going to be a safe deck? Well, I have kids, and they're going to be on the deck. So I will build. You'll have to leave it up to me to build a safe deck. But I realized as I was saying that, I kept thinking that. And then, so we all kind of realize Texas and Florida and these kinds of places are attracting Nashville's, attracting the octagon crowd. The safe space crowd, I hate safety. I hate safety, and I also hate forced safety. I don't like shit that doesn't make sense, and I don't like it being foisted on me.
Yeah.
I have done plenty of racing, and when I do racing, I get in a fire suit and a Hans device, head and neck restraint system for you don't break your neck, and a hood. I wear everything. But I do it because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that in my passenger car. And then if you mandated I did it in my passenger car, I would get angry and wouldn't want to do it. So I'm not against safety per se, but I don't want it foisted on me. And that's basically what happened with COVID. You're like, why do I got to wear a mask if I'm alone walking on this horse trail? It's like, because you have to. And that's when I push back. Now, that is a safe space, not an octagon. And then within, I don't believe safe spaces flourish. And the reason I don't think safe spaces flourish is safe spaces are tons of good ideas with no infrastructure and no execution. So when you just announce no humans illegal and we have a sanctuary city. Everyone is welcome and we have a sanctuary city. That's fine until people start showing up.
Yeah.
And now they're on the streets and now you're closing the gym that the kids play in so you can house these people. It's good ideas. And I've been around. I've seen enough of these good ideas, where they're like, we got to close down the nuclear power plants. You do that. Now there's no infrastructure. It's basically saying everyone needs an electric car and we need to not build any nuclear power plants and shut the power plants. Okay. That's something my mom would have been down with. And it's good in the sense that I drive an electric car and I like the idea of people driving an electric car.
Yeah.
But you want to mandate, California's like everybody's in an electric car by 2030. You don't have an electrical grid or infrastructure that can come anywhere close to executing this or pulling this off.
It's like magical execution.
It's magical thinking.
Yeah.
And they beat you because they go, don't you? I don't. It's John Lennon. It's John fucking Lennon. And imagine, he imagines no borders. No borders. Okay, well, tell that to Lebanon and tell that to Syria and tell that to Israel and tell that to Palestine and tell it to Texas and Mexico. Okay, no borders. No borders. Well, it's not going to work. I like the honor system. I like the idea of sleeping with my door unlocked. I like the idea of leaving valuables in my car and the windows down when next time I go to Oakland. I love all these ideas.
Yeah.
None of them work. I like defund the police. I don't want cops. I don't want tickets. I don't want any of that stuff. But it doesn't work.
It's like on paper, looks fantastic. It's a pretty picture, but then in actual execution, you're making a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right. So the safe spaces are the ideas-based places, usually a little more feminine-driven, and the octagons are more boots on the ground, kind of pragmatic, whatever. Safe space is, and I've been in Los Angeles long enough for this. We have many kids in Los Angeles Unified School District who speak Spanish, and their parents speak Spanish at home, and they're coming into schools. So we should have Spanish-speaking teachers, and they should be taught in their language. And I go, well, that sounds nice, but how about we just speak English to them, and by the time they're in the third grade, they can speak English too. And they go, but what about the kids? It's not, they have their native language. They're not going to understand. All right, so what do? We go, all right, get the bilingual teachers in there to teach them in Spanish. What happens? Well, the kids never properly learn English, and then they graduate high school, maybe, and then they have to get a job waiting outside the Home Depot because they can't get a job at an accounting firm. They don't speak good enough English. So it sounds nice, and it sounds loving that you're teaching them in their native language, but it hurts the people that you claim to help.
In the short term, it makes it seems like you're being nice, but in the long term, you're doing damage to society.
The short term is we live in a sanctuary city where no person's illegal. The long term is here comes a bus of Guatemalans and we don't know where the fuck to put them.
Damn.
Okay, so safe spaces and octagons. There are also octagons within safe spaces. Like California is a safe space, but Irvine, California is an octagon.
Yeah.
It's like there's a sign that I've spoken about before. I go to the Irvine Improv all the time. There's a big sign first things first. When you drive to Orange County, when you drive to Irvine from Los Angeles, it is damnation alley hellscape of hobos and potholes and graffiti and trash and weeds and homeless and inexplicably shopping carts like everywhere strewn and the side of the freeway. Everything's dead, foliage is dead, garbage everywhere. And then you get into Orange County, all of a sudden the road gets smooth and it widens up and the graffiti goes away.
Shocking.
And it's like, yeah, okay, that's an octagon. They don't tolerate it. There's a sign that says, we arrest people in Orange County. Do not bring your $950 maximum shoplifting bullshit here. Well, you steal a box of chiclets, we'll take you down.
Yeah.
And thus, they don't have as much of that because they don't tolerate it.
No.
So, there's safe spaces, there's octagons, and there's even octagons inside of safe spaces, like Orange County. Yeah. Then there are safe spaces inside of octagons, like Texas is kind of an octagon, but Austin is kind of a safe space.
Yeah.
And I like Austin, but you're going to get more homeless and a little more crime and maybe a little more stuff inside the safe space than you do in the octagon. And like Oregon's got a lot of dudes and hunters and outdoor guys, but then you have Portland and that's a little safe space and chop zone. And now we got more sort of lawlessness and chaos. So in this election, we're deciding whether we're going to the safe space or the octagon. In the past, we were kind of heading down the middle. And when you listen to not too long ago, guys like Bill Clinton speak, Bill Clinton, when he's speaking back in the day, and even Joe Biden, back in the day, talking 1996 or whatever.
Yeah, they're talking tough.
They sound like Trump.
I know.
They're talking about borders and abortion needs to be, it needs to be legal and safe and rare. We don't like it. They're talking about something that had to do with drugs and incarceration and the border. They sound like Republicans.
Yeah.
And so, if Bill Clinton wants a stout border and people not to do drugs, and so does George W. Bush, then we're going to end up going right down kind of the center.
Yeah.
And there's nuances, but it wasn't that great. There were just sort of, and therefore, it didn't really much matter if Clinton was the president or the other guy was the president, because it was basically the same outcome.
But somewhere along the line, we bifurcated.
And we went pretty hard, and now there is a big gap, and thus the safe space in the octagon. So we're going to find out, because Kamala Harris, is a woman who has, that women have more safe space in them than octagon, just in general. COVID came. My thoughts, I live with my wife, I live with my daughter, and I live with my son. Me and my son had very different thoughts about COVID than my wife and my daughter did. Very different.
Yeah.
And Gavin Newsom, who thinks like a chick, he's the presides over the safe space, had very different thoughts than I did and applied those thoughts to people paddleboarding on the beach. Okay, so that's how he thinks. Now, I don't like that. I would like to go paddleboarding on the beach during COVID in the bay. So now we're going to kind of find out, have we turned the corner, and essentially the book in 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks is 16 years old now. Have we turned that corner, and was my prediction true? And if Kamala Harris is the president, then that is what we're saying. This is what we want. We want the safe spaces, not the octagons. So I don't know, because we don't have that answer yet. It scares me that everything is this close, or confuses me. But that's what we're gonna find out. Now, the thing about the safe space versus the octagon, we got Kamala talking about Christmas. By the way, this is a very safe spacey thing to say. She's talking about using the word Christmas when there's illegal aliens and, I don't know, incarcerated or something.
The hell?
Kids, what are you gonna do?
Oh,
Bye-bye.
different video. But
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
By the way, I'm going with my Ellen analogy with her. Lots of laughing, lots of dancing, but a little angry sometimes.
She's a prosecutor.
About Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. That's a safe space thought. Now, here's the other thing. Safe spaces don't really work.
Yeah.
Safe spaces break down. You can say the homeless, no, I'm sorry, the unhoused should live in dignity, and we should reach out to them and welcome them into our homes and take care of them and whatever. And nobody's illegal, and people are coming here fleeing persecution, and they deserve a safe space and a hot meal. And if folks want to do a 3-day work week, that'll be on them. And if the father should also get maternity leave for 6 months, not just the mother who's giving away. You can float all of those up. $20 minimum wage. Make it a $50 minimum wage. You can float all that you want. It caves in on itself. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Because safe spaces are... You can't just build this multi-unit housing unit. We got rules. We got regulations.
Yeah.
A lot of environmental impact reports. This is going to take a while. So now what happens? The same unit in Texas is $185,000, and you can build the thing in 4 months. But in California, it's 3 years and it's $900,000. And then we have a housing problem. It folds in on itself. It's great. It doesn't work. So at some point, the safe spaces are going to have to reach out to the octagons for help.
Yeah.
Because they're going to run out of money, they're going to run out of everything, and they're going to be bucked. So we're going to find out in this chapter of our nation's history, are we heading toward a safe space, or have we seen enough of the safe space and moving toward the octagon? Now, the thing about the safe space is once you hit your saturation level with the safe space, you go, fuck it, we got to do something here. Like Kamala Harris is saying, we need to build some border wall.
Yeah.
Now, she was explaining that was a crime against humanity 10 minutes ago. She wants to do it now because the problem has gotten to that point. Yeah. So when the problem, I don't know if it was Portland. I was one of those real progressive cities where they just went like, fuck this, no more progressives.
Yeah.
Where it's not working. Or fuck it, we need cops. This isn't working. You know what I mean? So eventually it doesn't work. Now, it works more in the heads of women who don't have to really live in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a good idea. It's not good if you're a cop on the street kind of thing, or own a small shop on the street with the homeless people. So they support the idea. They like it. Like all the defund the police people had their own security or had a gate or lived in a safe neighborhood.
I know, yeah.
You know, so this, and at some point, when the safe space idea gets too bad, you get to some sort of saturation level, you have too many bad safe space ideas, then there's a snapback. But the question is that snapback now or is it 4 years from now?
Big questions. We will soon see.
Yeah, I also had a clip, was another clip we played a little prematurely, which is I'm constantly shouting about the race hustling. I don't like it. It doesn't help the people you're trying to help. It agitates people. I don't know why. And somehow I'm naive for saying this all the time. I'm like, these guys, Obama's a hustler. He's a race hustler. He's fucking agitating black people all the time. And I don't blame them. If I thoroughly convinced my young son that when he got arrested, the cops are going to try to kill him, then he would be smart to try to fight the cops.
Yeah.
But I would be a bad dad if I tried to convince him of that. All right. This is a clip I saw. It's a guy, evidently he's walking, I guess he's got a MAGA hat on, and a woman came by. And also, the answer, and we always do this, the answer is more women and more women of color. I have no evidence to suggest that they do a better job of running their cities than Irish dudes.
Yeah.
But listen to her. Go ahead.
Don't you?
Bye-bye.
A 40-year-old.
I see your hat.
Good.
I see your hat. He's gonna lose.
Vote Trump.
He's gonna lose.
Good.
He's empowering you racist bitches. All right? But you
All right,
ain't
pause
shit.
it. Now, she's driving a $40,000 SUV, and she seems pretty well put together.
Yeah.
The thing by the way, I'm sure this woman works TSA at LAX because this is every woman I deal with at LAX. But she does go to work somewhere and has to preside over a department or has people under her or whatever. And at some point, she's going to find out you voted for Trump and see how that next raise or review goes. But all right, let's listen to her.
Good. He's empowering you racist bitches, all right? But you ain't shit. A black bitch is going to be in the office, and his white ass is going to be out. We're taking the trash out, loser. All right, we in power now.
Have a nice day.
You have a wonderful day on the 5th, okay? You're going to lose.
Okay.
And your leader, your cult leader.
Bye-bye.
You dumb fuck.
Bye-bye.
Well, there's some
words-
hate that came before this clip. Something happened before this. It's a weird mix.
Well, he's wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah,
that definitely
might be enough.
got
That
her
might be
going.
enough, yeah.
But her thing of we're in power now, that's the part that, listen, when you beat the drum of men hate women and they're trying to oppress women, and we as a society hate black people, especially black women, well, then at some point when they win office, then of course they have to think, well, guess who's in charge now, bitches? Which is why I don't like all the talk
You're right.
coming up to
I gotta
it.
say, you make a good point here that race hustling, is that what you call it? Yeah, because they're trolling hard enough to get everybody fired up at each other.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Sad. So you've spent a lot of time in the octagon.
I did. Yeah, it's a tough place, but there's a lot more freedom in there, I guess.
Well, there's freedom to fail and there's freedom to get your hand raised.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Prager is coming in for a thoughtful conversation. Then we're going to have Mayhem circle back, and we'll get into some news. We'll do all that right after this.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Brad Williams and Jay Leno. Hey, everybody. Over there, we're doing our 3rd annual comedy fantasy camp. That's going to be January 23rd through the 26th, right in Hollywood, California. Where else would it be? These guys are going to be there.
So remember, 2 out of every 3 comics make it big.
Well, 1.5.
Do I get paid for this? Please tell me I get paid for this.
Go to comedyfantasycamp.com and get in on the fun.
Him's hair. Men, when we leave the house, we check for the phone, you check the wallet, you check for your keys. But what about the hair? How's the hair look? Are you experiencing a little hair loss? Well, may hurt the confidence a little bit. And you want to get that confidence back. And that's where Hims comes in. They provide a range of doctor-trusted hair loss treatments, chewable, oral, spray, and serum as well. All from the comfort of your own couch. You can just do it all online. Simple, 100% online process. Just answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you and which treatment should be prescribed to you. Treatment is sent straight to your door, direct. It's just going to be between you and your dog. No one else going to know about this. No insurance needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. It's Hims Hair, right, Dawson?
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Adam. That's HIMS.com/Adam for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/Adam. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Well, it's the best time of the year to get some home security going, and that's where Simply Safe comes in. They're giving my listeners early access to the Black Friday sale. That's right. You get in early. Ground floor, Simply Safe's new Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it happens. Right. You don't want to get a busted window, someone in the house, then you find out. No, this nips it in the butt. If someone's lurking around and acting suspicious, agents see them in real time, talk to them directly, set off a spotlight, even call the police. No long-term contracts. And by the way, I think they use AI to recognize the friendly neighbor or the person that's walking their dog. No long-term lock-in contracts, cancellation fees. It's around $1 a day. That's not much to spend for security. This week, well, you can take 60% off any new system with the Select Professional Monitoring Plan. It's their best offer of the year, and it's all for you. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
Head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Denis Prager in studio. Now, just for full transparency, we do not know how the election turned out at the time we're taping this, which is a little bit before you guys are hearing it, but we're right up on the election. But I had a lot of thoughts that I wanted to get into with you about this anyway. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, you know what I think about you. So it's almost inconceivable you would ask me to come on and I wouldn't.
I really...
even in this case, it's between my fireside chat for PragerU and the airport, and I still came.
Literally has your bags packed, jumping back in the SUV and hustling to LAX. So I understand it, I appreciate it, and it means a lot. And for me, it's all kind of actions. You can give all the lip service you want, but you got very short notice to swing by, and you did, and that means a lot to me, especially because I'm such a fan of you and your work. So we can speak in generalities about the country and Trump and Biden and Kamala and all that. I listen to your show regularly. And one of the things that I find interesting is I do not have a lot of formal training, but I just kind of start tapping into things and thinking about them and sort of ruminating about them. And usually I get bothered by it, and then I want to know what's up. And I'm sort of like an Indian who gets a bad feeling in a Western. You know, I can't tell you which way the troops are coming from or how many there are. I just has that guy, but he's never wrong when he has a bad feeling. You are one of the only people I hear speaking about women and how women have been such a large part of our decision-making and governance, and how we've been told repeatedly, like, if we only had a woman in charge, we'd have no more war, and and all this kind of stuff. And it's something I've been drilling down on and talking to Dr. Drew about it a lot, sort of off the air. And I wrote a book called In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks, and that book is 16 years old now. And you're the only one who has been sort of brave enough to speak about some of these ideas, because it always immediately falls under the heading of misogyny. But that's not what it is. It's more of an observation.
Yeah, so first the observation. I have so much to react to. First of all, I just want to comment on your use of the word brave. So like you, it's part of our mutual appeal. We both ruminate on these things. And so I've thought a lot about that. I don't know how much credit I get for saying things that I know will elicit some vicious response, let's say.
Denis famously said that if you're a good husband and you treat your wife well and she's not in the mood on one particular night to be intimate, you should take one for the team because you got a good man. And then that, of course, gets spun into Denis Prager says it's okay to rape your wife.
Right.
Right. And yes. Going in.
That's right. I know
what they're going to do with
so
that.
Here, it's not a direct answer. I'm going to directly answer the issue that you raised about the women. But I wanted to comment on that. I would say that pursuit of truth and courage are synonymous.
Yes, I agree.
I know you agree because that's you. And so people need to understand that if you don't have courage, you can't pursue truth. And if you pursue truth, that means you have courage. So they're almost synonymous. I don't take too much credit for this because I don't have the capacity to shut up about what I believe is true. And my belief is let the chips fall where they may. If I said it appropriately, and if what I said is accurate, then I have to say it.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to say, so with regard to women, if one says, in terms of murder and mayhem and violence and rape, pretty much men have a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Am I called a man-hater?
No.
Of course not. But if I say that in America today, women are playing a disproportionate role in breaking down cultural norms, that's called misogyny. Because, and here's the irony, you can criticize men, but you cannot criticize women, which leads to another observation of mine. Feminism has made women weaker, not stronger.
I agree with that. And, for me, it was sort of like, look, women and men are different, and that's a good thing. And that's why it's good to have a mother and a father. And you take something like COVID. My wife at the time's approach to it was very different than my approach. And there was a difference with most women than a lot of men. There's certainly outliers. I know you and your lovely wife, Sue, probably on the same page.
Right.
Other people, normally it's the woman's role to say, look, if you're going out to the thing, make sure and you wash your hands before you come back into the house with the kids. Okay, there's a difference. There's just a difference. And so if you took the city of Los Angeles and you said, Adam Carolla's in charge, this is what we're going to do, it would have been a very different outcome than if you said my ex-wife was in charge, this is what we're going to do. Because we're different. Right. And many of these cities and so if you take a lot of women and you put them in positions of power, have them head up the Coastal Commission and have them head up the response to COVID and just have him be the mayor or whatever, the outcomes will be different. Now, let's not assign a pejorative to it. I'm not even saying, let's not say it's bad. It is bad, but let's just not say it's bad. It will be different than what it was.
Yes.
And we are now experiencing that. And maybe the most striking definition of it is Kamala Harris, woman, Trump, man, and he's talking about drilling and building fences and tariffs and, tax rates. And she's talking about everyone being welcome at the table and treated with dignity, which is a much more feminine thought than fracking and building a border wall.
Oh, that's exactly right. The teachers of our children are overwhelmingly women. Okay, so that's about as big a proof or perfect a proof as you can offer. Men, the vast majority of men, if they were 90% of the elementary school or 80% of the elementary school teachers as women are, they would not take 6-year-olds to drag queen story hour.
Right.
Okay, it's just that's just a fact. Some would. There are outliers in both directions, and some women oppose it. But the fact that women make up nearly all kindergarten teachers and the vast majority, well over 70% of elementary school teachers, we have a feminization of our curricula.
Yeah.
And it's about feelings. It's not about learning. It's about feelings.
Yes, and I say this all the time. If everybody at the school was vegetarian, there would not be Meatloaf Friday anymore. That would not last. If there would not be any barbecue, they would eventually get rid of it. And then they can say, Well, they're not taking their vegan politics and saddling the kids with it. But if everyone there was a vegan, the meat would go post-haste. It would go, and they can't help it. And that's what they do. I think there's also a little bit of a thing, which is I feel that women as a species sort of need to graft some of their stuff onto the people around them. In that case, it would be the students. I don't have that feeling. The sort of graft, I'm going to vote one way. I've not talked to anyone in this building who works with me about how they're going to vote. Never tell them who to vote for, and I'm not going to ask them who they vote for.
Right.
It's none of my business.
That's right.
And I don't feel that the offer to do it. There's a lot of stuff I like. I don't feel like if I taught a class of 7-year-olds, I would need to impart my interests outside of this classroom, politically or not, onto them. I feel if a woman is a vegan and she's up in front of a class of first and second graders, if you interviewed every one of those kids at the end of that semester, they would tell you stories about her getting upset when somebody pulled some lunch meat out of their lunch pail or some version of that.
So that's why by the way, that's a very interesting insight. I had never come up with it, but I love it. I really do love it. It's another example of what we call the feminization of anything, whether it's of teaching or of politics. On a gigantic macro scale, when women got the vote is when you can date the beginning of the leftward drift of American politics.
Yeah.
This is not a knock. This is not a critique. But it's either true or not true. Look at today. The overwhelming assessment is that it is a bigger gender gap in voting than ever before, especially among young people. Young men are much more likely to vote for Trump, and young women are much more likely to vote for Kamala Harris. And by the way, not because she's a woman, but because she's a Democrat. They would also much more likely have voted for Bernie Sanders. So her being a woman might play a role, but it doesn't matter because if the Republicans had nominated a woman, they still wouldn't vote for her. This is an ideological thing. The Democrats are the party of feeling, of compassion.
Yes.
And that's all they need to know.
But I don't know how much of it is narcissism, because if I have to hear somebody else explain, when you hear Kamala Harris discuss the war in Israel, she just basically explains everything with no plan. Israel needs to live in freedom and dignity and be autonomous, and then also Palestine needs to feel freedom and dignity and vote and feel like they have their own space, and the war should end and the hostages should come home. And
Right.
first off, I always feel sorry for a hostage, but with Biden and Kamala in place, that is a bad draw as a hostage. There's nothing. They're not doing anything to get you home. They're never gonna do anything to get you home. And then also the fact that we're a year plus in, and she's announcing we gotta get those hostages freed up. But never a discussion of how or why. But that is satisfying for people to watch. Like, okay, I agree. I want Israel to live in peace, and I want Palestine to live in peace.
Who doesn't? Okay, fine. Well, I'll tell you, by the way, I'm going to answer my own question. Who doesn't? The Palestinians don't.
Right.
The Palestinians want Israel dead. People don't want to acknowledge this.
Yes.
They announce it. It doesn't... the denial of the fact that Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran want Israel destroyed. They don't want peace with Israel. They want peace without Israel. Right. They say it. But people don't like bad news because it shatters their make-believe utopian world of everybody wants to live in peace. That's not true. Not everyone does want to live in peace.
Well, the most feminine idea ever is a sanctuary city. Nobody's illegal.
Yeah, that's right.
People come here.
Yeah.
They want a better life. They
Yeah.
deserve dignity. They need to be treated with respect and dignity. And they come here, and we should give it to them. And then you go, and then at some point they do show up, and they go, where are we going to put all these people? It's like, it's the perfect feminine thought. You have no infrastructure. You have no plan. You just announced that everyone needed to be treated with dignity and respect. And then when somebody showed up to Martha's Vineyard, you got a bus so they could leave.
Well, so I'm honored, and I know this is true, and I really am honored that you listen regularly to my show. So you've undoubtedly heard me say that we raise boys to control their natures, but we don't raise girls to control their natures.
Right.
Every boy raised by a semi-healthy parent, nobody's fully healthy, or very few people, but just semi-healthy. Control yourself. You can't be a sexual predator, and you can't beat up guys or girls or anything. Right. I'm sorry about this. I have no idea why this is happening because I turned it off.
That's all right.
Okay. No, it isn't all right, actually. it's embarrassing. Let me get this thing off.
All right.
Here, one second. I really want to comment on that. That's really important to me.
Well,
okay, fine.
I'll filibuster. All right.
All right. So the boys are told you got to control your sexual nature. You got to control your aggression. What do we tell girls to control?
Right. Nothing.
But they have to control their emotions. And whenever I have said that, the left wing on the internet goes crazy that this is misogyny. Oh, we have to control our emotions. Well, first of all, everybody has to control their emotions. But the notion that women are not born perfect,
right,
is insulting to them.
The other part of this that is so interesting to me is when you see the campaign ads for Kamala Harris doing that whole thing where you have to lie to your husband about how you're going to vote.
Yes, that ad, yeah.
They've constructed some world that I've never visited. Mm-hmm. Some world where the woman is scared and she knows her place and she would never go against. I mean, I think about a lot.
Right.
I have a daughter. I just went and visited her. She's having the time of her life. She's predominantly got her way and her say, with me. There is no oppression. And I'm considered a misogynist. Every woman in my life, as I sort of scroll through the women I've dated, ex-wife, daughters, and all these kind of things, I've always been 100% perfectly free to say whatever they wanted, and they did, oftentimes, probably more than I deserved on many things. I mean, you take a look at COVID. COVID, for me, was a woman and a daughter and a son and a father living under the same roof. And the women bullied and led the men around by the nose to do everything they wanted to do COVID. So where is this world where the men are, intimidating their women to vote for Trump so they have to secretly...
Beats me.
It does. I think,
right.
But I think it's like systemic racism. I just think they create something that doesn't exist, or even climate change. There's a thing.
Voter suppression. They create all of these things. They don't exist.
I had a tape or a clip that I wanted to share with you because I think it encapsulates many of the things we were talking about. I just came upon it this morning when I turned on X, and it was a woman from Texas who's very emotional and very upset. And it's a thing I've noticed a lot too, which is she will explain how her brothers and other family members are conservative, and the saddest thing in the world is she no longer can spend time with them, except for you and I know that's her decision, not their decision. That's the part, the part where you lament losing your brother to Trump. I'll bet you that brother's more than happy to come by on Thanksgiving and not talk about politics with you. But
by
you
the way,
won't
literally,
that.
I would bet. I would literally bet.
Yes. All right, we'll play the tape.
I just saw a video of Harris supporters lining the street and waving signs in Bastrop, Texas, and it has me completely losing my mind. I'm bawling. I grew up in Texas. My grandfather was a union organizer. He cared about people deeply. My grandmother was liberal. My mother, a social worker, liberal. And at 18, I knew that Texas was not a safe or a sane place. Not a safe place for me.
All right, pause it for a second. I have this saying that says all roads lead to narcissism. I think this is narcissism. I know it doesn't sound narcissistic when you say, people think narcissism is, I was the best athlete in my high school.
No. That's boasting. That's not necessarily narcissism. You're 100% right. Anyway, the notion the whole state of Texas is not safe for me. I mean, I am a conservative living in California, one of the most left-wing states in the country. I would never think of saying it's not safe for me.
Right.
It doesn't that entered my vocabulary.
All right, we'll play a little more.
Safe or a sane place. Not a safe place for me. And I left, and I've been really feeling all of my family, my extended family, my brother, who I've completely lost to the right wing. And I've really been feeling this the past couple of days. Just the intense pain of losing people, never talking to them again your whole life because they don't believe that you deserve to exist.
All right, pause.
What?
It's crazed narcissism.
They don't believe she has the right to exist.
But again, it's the pinnacle of narcissism because I don't care who or
By
what
the way,
or anything about
I have
her.
one sibling. He's voting. I'm almost certain he's voting for Kamala Harris. I would bet anything. And the thought that I don't think he should exist. He would laugh at that idea.
Right.
As we call each other on the phone, and how you doing? How's life? You don't know. Well, you do know, but this notion of narcissism. I'll give you a related example. By the way, before I give you my example, why did she make this video?
Because she's a narcissist.
Okay.
Also, it's up there when people go, scared of people who look different than them.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't everyone look different than you?
Yeah.
And I know they're talking about ethnicity, but could you navigate Los Angeles in modern times and be scared of your Uber driver, be scared of the guy behind the counter at the Chipotle,
you would
be scared of
permanent. You'd be in permanent fear. Exactly.
You go in to get surgery, and there's an Indian guy standing there with a scalpel.
My wife had, she's fine, so I just let that out in the beginning. She had breast cancer, very, very early stage. It was fine. Her anesthesiologist, and this was a hyper, super duper clinic, was a black woman. Not just not a man, but not a white man, a black woman. And all my wife could say is the woman was phenomenal. So did my wife go under for surgery? Think, I'm scared of my anesthesiologist. I'm a conservative white woman.
Right.
I must be scared of her.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where it's narcissism, and it also might be projection.
Yes.
I don't know anyone who thinks that way.
No, I have thoughts about groups that they earn. Meaning, you tell me this guy's out of Germany, I might go, okay, he's probably a better soccer player than a guy who was born in the United States. Doesn't have to be, but probably. And if you said to me on the freeway, if you're running late for the airport, would you rather be behind a German guy or an Asian woman? And I would go, okay, I'll take the German guy. I don't know.
Right, but that has nothing to do with being scared of.
Right.
Non-Jews for all of my lifetime said, you're really in trouble. Get a Jewish lawyer.
Right.
Is that anti-Semitic? I'm a Jew. Is that anti-Semitic? No. It's a stereotype. But stereotypes have often, not always, some truth to them.
Oh, they have to have a lot of truth to them, otherwise they don't stick.
They don't stick. That's a very good. That's a very fair point. So on the narcissism, so I have this. I didn't use it vis-a-vis this woman. I didn't see this or this sentiment, which you're right. Here's one that I have said over and over. The conservative, quote unquote, conservative or Republican never Trumper. So they concede all the terrible things that the Democrats have done to the country, like an open border, like hyperinflation, and so on. They concede it, but they hate Trump. So that to me is narcissism.
Yes.
I don't vote on what's better for the country. I vote on my feelings about Donald Trump. I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump.
With also, I agreed, with also some sort of possible date for having a beer with kind of thing.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh, that drives me crazy.
It's never going to happen. Gas prices are going to affect you, and beef prices are going to affect you, and the border being open is going to affect you. But the beer with Trump, which is never going to happen, is affecting you and impacting you and helping your decision, informing your decision making to a greater extent than school choice.
I believe I know you well enough to know that the thought, would I like to have beer with that candidate, has never entered your mind.
No, I would. Well, first off, I would like both. I would like to have a beer with the person and love all their policies.
Yeah, but between the two,
gone. Never going to happen.
Exactly.
All right, we have a little more of this ladies' tape to play. There's more here.
They don't believe that you deserve to exist. They are hateful, racist, self-righteous, and it's not worth having a relationship with them. I'm so touched. And I know there's so many Trump supporters there, and that's fine, but when you felt so ostracized from your own home that you loved, and you loved growing up there, and you loved the bigness and the
She wants to go back to Texas, but she can't.
And to know that you're not welcome there, really. I mean, I can hide who I am in Texas because I'm white and cis looking, but fuck, it's a lot to lose your whole family.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from her family, but
she didn't lose her family. You're right. She left her family,
who was in Texas. And also this thing of like, she's not welcome there. I don't look at it in those terms. There's not going to be red carpet rolled out or ticker tape parades. You can just show up and go about your business and no one will care. That's the narcissism. They can't understand that nobody cares. Like, they go, when they see a woman of color who's a lesbian, no, we don't think about you. We don't care. We hope everything works out, and that's about it. Now, if you get in our face and start yelling or steal something for us, then we will be engaged. But other than that, I have zero interest in what you're doing in your bedroom or who you're praying to.
I still believe that marriage, the word marriage should be male, female, one man and one woman. Okay? Most people disagree with me. That's fine. It's not an issue. I do believe it on religious grounds and non-religious grounds. So people are shocked because they have her mentality, I must be filled with hate. So here's just one fascinating little tidbit. Sue, my wife, and I, she's also believes that marriage should be male-female by definition, with all rights given to same-sex couples, just not the word marriage. And we are the godparents to a gay couple's children. Godparent, for those who don't know, means if something happens to these two men, we raise them. And specifically, we are the moral instructors. So this married two men would entrust their children with a couple that doesn't believe in same-sex marriage.
Right.
And it doesn't strike me as odd, but it would strike people who hear it as very odd. How could that be? On their part, how could that be? Don't they know you're the enemy? And on my part, how could that be? Aren't I compromising with my principles?
Well, again, all roads leading to narcissism. When you go, they are hate-filled and they are racist and they are misogynistic. Okay, so you are not they.
Right.
You then do not possess any of those negatives.
Right.
And so thus you're on the side of the righteous.
Exactly.
And I always find it strange that they say all of it out loud and in such an emphatic way as well. Like, you know what? I never hear like, look, not all of them. I don't know what they think. I'm sure there's lots of, you qualify everything with not all. And, there are many good. There are many good. I know many good people who disagree with me and they're fine people and they love their family. They never qualify. It's just everybody is a racist.
Well,
and everyone's misogynistic.
She can't feel safe in Texas. The idea, do you understand?
It's a big place not to feel safe in.
Exactly.
In 2024.
Right. I was just in Rhode Island. You can't get left of Rhode Island, and it's a very small state, so you could really feel, if you're a conservative, you could feel claustrophobic. I just spoke at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. I felt perfectly safe.
Well,
what does that even mean?
Her thing is I don't feel safe. I know I'm white, and they don't know I'm a lesbian, but I still don't feel safe. Well, you should feel safe.
Is she a lesbian? Did that come out?
She said, I don't want to out her. But she said, she said white and mistaken for cis or looked cisgender or something, all these terms.
She did say that? I didn't hear the cisgender.
She did I think basically what she's saying is this place hates lesbians and hates people of color. I am white and present as a non-lesbian, so I'm safe even though I don't feel safe, which is an interesting thing because...
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Well, let's get some clarity because I know you love clarity.
Yes.
Let's watch the last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That you're not welcome there, really. I mean, I can hide who I am in Texas because I'm white and cis looking, but it's a lot.
She's cis looking.
No, right. But she didn't say I'm cis. By the way,
she's implying she's a lesbian, isn't she?
I don't think so because cis means I identify with my gender. It doesn't mean I'm gay. Cis doesn't mean gay or not gay. Cis doesn't mean straight.
All right, then I'm going to use her funky nail polish as a tell.
Okay,
wait,
fine.
what do you guys think? I'm so confused with the pronouns and the cis and all that. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of white girls are trying to get credit and call themselves non-binary.
So maybe non...
No. So she's saying she is binary because she's cis.
She's not cis.
She says cis look.
She says cis looking.
Cis passing.
Oh, so you think she isn't?
Well, here I'm going on her motivation.
I get it. Okay, right, that's fair.
She's saying I'm white. And people think I'm cis.
I identify with what I look like. Okay.
Yeah, people think I'm a non-lesbian white woman, so I might be left alone because that's how we do it. I try to spot the lesbians and then attack them.
So of course.
That's what we do.
No, I know. You told me the other day.
Off the air, but all right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, so... and by the way, she could at least live in Austin, don't you think?
Yes. It's a perfect answer. Or downtown Houston.
Right. All right. But no one would know and no one would care. That's my whole point. There's not Hispanics in Texas? Yes. How does this math work? All right. Sorry. You were going to say.
No, I forgot it already, but it doesn't matter. This notion... Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you. That's right. This is what I was going to ask you. I have not figured out exactly, which is funny because we did a movie together, No Safe Spaces.
Yes.
So the word safe has been made so elastic as to be meaningless, but to those who use it, like she or like her, it does mean something. What do you think it means when she says Texas is not safe? What is the word safe code for?
I think it's sort of like Gavin Newsom, where he says, California, you're safe to love. And he kind of means, I don't know what he means. I think I think they're using these words like people, like I think it was, oh God, I think it was Doug Emhoff or possibly Kamala's running partner. His name just
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz. Tim Walz he goes, it's time. Well, first off, they love double talk. They love salad talk. They love extra talk. It makes them sound smarter. He's up there and he goes, it is time to literally turn the page. Literally.
I love
he
that.
Just
literally.
likes to say literally. But
Yeah.
if we were to take it your word, Tim, then we could all open a book to chapter 5 and just flip it to the next page. But I don't think that's not what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think they're in love with language. I think they love cis and they love non-binary and they love safe. And saying, I don't feel safe and I felt attacked and all this other stuff. I don't think they mean it in any practical or pragmatic form like we would think about when you were a kid. You go, there's certain parts of Brooklyn you don't walk through at night.
Right.
It's not safe.
Right. They don't mean that. So it's funny. Isn't this there's a rare moment. I asked you the question, and in the midst of your answer, I came up with a possible answer. Safe to folks on the left means everyone agrees with me.
Yes. I think yeah. Well, she doesn't talk to her family anymore because they disagree.
That's right. That's not acceptable.
And the thing that I always discuss with people, which again is the sort of all roads lead to narcissism, is you do understand that your brothers have just as big a problem with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden as you do with Trump.
They don't see that.
And
no. It's inconceivable.
And there's a laundry list of reasons that would justify those feelings.
Right.
And there are many, many things they've done that we disagree with and that are actually dangerous and caused a lot of harm.
Right.
So, okay, you want to defund the police. I don't want to defund the police. Well, let's defund the police and see how many people get killed.
You want to open the borders. We don't want to open the borders.
Right. So I have as big a problem with your ideas and your people who implement.
They can't imagine that.
There's no way.
That proves it's narcissism because narcissism makes empathy impossible.
Yes.
I can't imagine you feel the way I do.
The notion that I live in a state that Gavin Newsom governs over is more than depressing for me.
Right.
And the part that an overwhelming majority of people in the state disagree with me and agree with him and vote for him is borderline devastating to me.
Right.
And when Larry Elder, our dear friend, was running against Gavin Newsom several years ago, while my mom was alive, one of the last things she said to me was, I don't know who Larry Elder is, but I know who Gavin Newsom is, and I'm voting for him. Now, that's devastating to me as a son and as a person that can form sentences and thoughts. But she has no problem saying it to me. If I said I'm all about Ron DeSantis, she wouldn't understand it. She would get angry, and she might cut the visit short. But you have to understand that there's every bit. We understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers fans hate the Ravens every bit as much as the Ravens fans hate the Steelers fans. But this is a situation where the Ravens fans don't understand the Steelers. They're like, you understand we hate you because we hate the Steelers. And they go, yeah, we hate you. What are you talking about? And how dare you wear that Steelers jersey in here? What are you doing? It's like, well, you understand. I would argue that I probably hate Gavin Newsom on a deeper level because these people don't like my guys.
It's not his personality.
It's not his personality.
Exactly.
It's all of his actions.
His damage.
It's damage. I hate him on a much more pragmatic level than you would hate my guy. My guy you don't like because he said gay something once or something, whatever, on a hot mic.
That's right. That's what they emphasize. How much they loathe Trump, his personality, his characteristics, he's this, he's that. We don't. My dislike of Adam Schiff has nothing to do with his character.
I know,
and I don't think he has a good character, but it's irrelevant to me.
It's
what he's done.
You would say, if you're talking about, I'm sure he's a good family guy. You know, I'm sure his kids love him.
Right.
You know, and look, he might be a good neighbor.
Yep.
I feel this way about him because of these actions.
Yeah. Period.
And that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
The same. I had another interesting thing I wanted to float past you, which is.
Wait, did you want to float it past me or bounce it off me?
You know what? I should bounce it off.
Which metaphor?
That's right. I know, it's funny because you on your show the other day said flush it down the drain or something, and then you stopped and went, oh, flush it down the toilet.
Well, that's your rib of me. I really want to be precise.
I know. I'm a fan.
You've picked up on it. Okay, yeah.
There's a clip, and it was the Buffalo Bills football game from last weekend, and the security guy was coming over and telling the guy he couldn't wear his Trump shirt in the stands. And then he...
On what grounds?
I do not know, but I will say... The guy said, what's the problem? And then they do what they always do, which they go, no political statements of any kind. So I'll play the tape and then I'll give a little rebuttal.
Again, it's an NFL policy that he cannot wear his Trump shirt in the first row.
100% false.
100% false.
It's not a Trump shirt. It's nothing political.
Nothing political. From the NFL.
Nothing political. All right, pause it. Nothing political. Yet in the end zone, it says end racism.
That's right. In the end zone.
In the end zone.
Right. That's
in
right.
9-foot letters.
Yes.
It says, so NFL wants to stay out of politics, but they scribble end racism in the end zone. That seems dubious to me.
I would say so. Are they still doing end racism? I was at the Dallas Cowboy game last year, and they had it in the end zone, and that's Dallas.
They have. Oh, first off, I know you love this. They have the "It Takes All of Us," which again, the platitude.
That is so beautiful.
So beautiful.
1 minute.
Everything's going to change.
I just want to feel good about that one.
Yes,
makes me feel safe.
It's as effective, and this is a pop reference. I don't know, but. Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, had a news conference 3 months ago to inform that disgraced and possible multi-rapist rapper P. Diddy, he needed the key back to the city that he gave him last year.
That's cool.
Yes, but it gets nothing accomplished. And...
I want the key to the city back.
Yes. It takes all of us is the same thing. It's just some symbolic platitude.
Right.
Now, the end racism, which I'm obsessed with, in the end zone, and I'll tell you why I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It's probably about 40% of the stadiums in the end zones. It's, some say it takes all of us, some's a sort of a vote, thing, and then end racism went from, 70% down to the mid-30s, or it's every other game there's something on one side.
So not all the stadiums are doing it?
I'd look in the other room and look at Joe and say, they must rotate them. I don't know if some do it. I hate it.
I hate it.
And I hate it because people say, how could it hurt? And how it could hurt is making people think we live in a racist society to the point where we have to put that in an end zone.
Right. That's correct.
Here's what I would say, though. If I turned on the television, I was watching a soccer match, out of Dublin, and in the end zone area, for lack of a better term, it said end malaria. And every time I saw a game out of that country, it said end malaria.
There's a lot of malaria in Ireland.
I would assume, yes, it was a problem.
What else? Exactly.
Malaria is evidently an issue in Ireland because otherwise, why would they put it on their soccer fields?
That's a terrific analogy.
What other conclusion could you draw?
There is no other. That's right.
In Malibu, on the lifeguard station in Malibu, there's a big sign that says, "Stop hate at the beach. End hate at the beach." They put hate, by the way. They have to put hate
wait, 1 second.
everywhere.
At the beach?
In Malibu, there's a picture of it
Does
somewhere.
the actual sign say "at the beach" after the word hate? Or just "end hate"?
It's like, keep the beach hate-free. Or some version of that we paid for.
Wait, I'm sorry. It is such a beautiful sentiment.
Keep our beaches.
Who would want hate at the beach?
Keep our beaches hate-free. Hate-free. So going to the beach, I must be reminded about our hateful nature in Malibu in 2024.
Well, so you will love this. Maybe 25 years ago, the city of Berkeley, the Berkeley City Council announced that Berkeley, the city of Berkeley, is a hate-free zone. So I announced, this is before I think you ever even knew about me. I announced on the radio.
Wait, what year, Dennis?
25. You think you knew about me 25 years ago?
I used to listen to Religion on the Line.
Oh, then you did. Okay, so maybe
back in the 80s.
All right, okay. I'm very touched. I am, seriously. So I announced on the air, folks, I cannot any longer visit Berkeley because I do hate.
Right.
And I hate evil. I hate rape. I hate murder. I hate torture. I hate burglary. I mean, and by the way, just for the record, my favorite verse in the Bible, I'm a religious guy. My favorite verse is, "Those of you who love God must hate evil." It's a command. It's a command form. In other words, if you don't hate evil, you don't love God. So this notion of anything hate-free, what does that mean? So what am I supposed to feel with a guy who rapes kids? That even you'll say, well, love the sinner and hate the sin. Okay, fine. Can I hate the sin? So even then you have to acknowledge there is a time when decency demands hatred.
Yes. Oh, I mean, again, it's everyone gets a seat. I literally hear celebrities doing their Kamala Harris endorsement and ending it with, "I'm voting for her because she cares about everyone." And it always, I don't know, I find it insulting.
Even Hitler?
Number one.
I mean, because Trump is Hitler.
Well,
does she care for him?
I do. I love when they go, look, and Trump's old, and if he dies in there, it's going to be worse. We'll get J.D. Vance. I was like, worse than Hitler? Oh, that's an interesting angle.
Hitler to the second power.
I know we only have a couple minutes left.
Really?
Well,
God, it goes fast with you. Holy crow.
Yeah, you should see me in the bedroom.
Is that clapping? Was that what he's doing? He was going like this?
Yes.
Or is that a signal to stop?
No.
This has been such a good interview. I love it.
Yes.
You did? Oh, good.
It is interesting that we're able to convince everyone of, or half the country, of something. And then also, do you find it sort of statistically interesting that we are split exactly in half? I find it an anomaly.
It is an anomaly. It's a great point.
It's basically if somebody said, I'm going to put out pepperoni pizza and I'm going to put out sausage and onion pizza, and people are going to vote as to which piece they like to. I'd say it's either going to go this way or it's going to go that. Maybe it'll be 70-30.
No, and a vote of 300 million.
Right. But if somebody said, not quite 300 million, but, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
200 million people are going to vote on pepperoni pizza versus sausage and onion. Right. And then I go, Dennis, I got the stats back. Pepperoni is 0.07. It's they're both 50. One's 49.99 and the other one's 50. You'd go, it's
an anomaly.
That's an anomaly. It's astounding.
Yes, I have no answer for it. It's like the collective wisdom. Maybe it represents the tear in people themselves. I don't know, because I don't know if you're familiar. I learned this from a caller, and I checked into it. Collective wisdom.
Yes.
They apparently did an experiment. They showed a big jar, I think, of M&Ms, and they asked people how many M&Ms are in the jar. They should guess. When they took the average of thousands of votes, that was the most accurate number.
Right. And shows why the experts at M&M counting aren't great.
Right.
That the wisdom of the group.
Yeah.
And but this has the word wisdom in it, and it still confuses me. And I think it's also interesting that I don't fault anyone who votes or thinks different than me. I question them, but I don't really fault them. But it's very rare that each side, if there was a close play at the plate, the Dodgers game the other week had a very close play at the plate. Okay. And you could watch it, and sensible people could go, I could see how it could go either way. The dust was in the air, and it looked like he got under the shin guard, but I don't blame the ump for making the call on the spot. It looked like he got him out. But this is not that. This is a Yankees fan and a Dodgers fan, and the Dodgers fan is going, he's 1,000% safe. It's as clear as the nose on my face. Look at it. It's embarrassing that we're even having this talk. And then the Yankees fan going, he was out by a mile. A mile. I don't even know why they're reviewing this. It's not even close. And so that is a very interesting part as well, because you'd think if something was statistically a dead heat, which it is, you'd talk to a lot of people that go, well, I like Trump when it comes to the border, but I like Kamala Harris's economy. I think she's better with the economy, and I like him. I like the school choice part, but I think she's better with energy for sure. I like that. You wouldn't think, you'd think there'd be some cross-pollination in there or something. It's not. It's she's the worst, he's the best, or he's the worst, and she's the best. And half the country has basically signed off on that premise, which makes me wonder what is going on. Is it purely exactly half the country likes pepperoni and half the country likes pizza and onion? Or
what's your alternative in given the division?
The alternative is a kind of a fight for the sake of the fight. You say up and I'll say down. We'll just engage.
No, I really do believe that there is a staggering gap. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Look, that half this country will vote for the party that says men give birth is all you need to know. There is no equivalent. I can't think of one, and I mean I do this for a living. I can't think of an equivalent absurdity that is mainstream Republican. You may disagree with a million things about the Republicans, but the level of the absurd that the earth is flat is equivalent to men give birth. That Tim Walz wants tampons in boys' rooms in high schools. We don't have that equivalent.
Yes.
So the gap is, and there's one other.
Well, I will say this quickly just to cover people who are maybe thinking it. There are outliers, Marjorie Taylor Greene or something, who say sensational things about lasers or Jews or some version of that. But that's not an overarching thought.
No. There's always been individuals who say outlandish things. You can't count that.
But it's not mainstream.
It's not mainstream.
Right.
If you deny that men give birth at virtually any public school in America, you're a hater. You're not just wrong, you're a hater. So and there's one other thing. These are all generalizations, and generalizations are very important because it means in general. It doesn't mean every single one. As you pointed out, I always have to say that.
Yes.
We don't insist that you agree with us. All we insist is that you don't impose what you believe on us. Where there is no comparison in the amount of imposition of policies on others. In New York State, they have a proposition on the ballot to make part of the Constitution that if a man says he's a woman, he must be allowed to play in women's sports. It's not merely you must agree with us, and you must allow us to impose it. The only one we have is abortion, because it's a moral question. So I won't deal with that. But the examples of imposing one's position are overwhelmingly on their side. It's like, basically, you know what conservatives want? This is a good thing to end on if we're ending.
Yes.
Basically, to be left alone.
Yes. Well, that's what I wanted to be during COVID.
Yes.
It's you can go, well, that was COVID, or that was a pandemic, or that was something. No, it was an example of where I am sort of emotionally and politically, and where the other side is emotionally and politically. You guys snapped into action by imposing as much stuff on as many people as humanly possible in the shortest period of time. I snapped into action by saying, I do not choose to wear a mask alone on a horse trail. You may, however, wear 3 masks if you'd like, and I will never talk to you about your decisions to wear a mask. And then you start talking about democracy and control, and I'm like, well, we just had a dry run. It was called COVID. And my side wanted to make our own decision about getting vaccinated and not be forced to get vaccinated in order to return to work or to go into a diner. And I wanted to be left alone. And I wanted to be able to use the beach. And I wanted my son to be able to use the park without a piece of rebar welded over the basketball hoop so they could no longer play. That's what I wanted to do. You wanted me to stay in my home and wear a mask and eat Thanksgiving dinner in a yard with my Nana and my grandpa. Okay, that was a little experiment. I'm not even saying you're bad or wrong. I'm saying we do know clearly who wanted control. We just went through it with COVID.
Can I give you one more example? Do we have the time?
Well, oh, listen, you're the one who has to get to the airport.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I'm dying to give you that. You will love this. So you know I love cigars.
Yes.
So I am on the road virtually every week of the year, speaking around the country as you do. So anyway, about a month ago I spoke in Spokane, Washington. Okay, so I do the same thing any city I get to. The moment I land, I look up on my map app, cigar lounge. If it's open, and some are open till 2 a.m., I'm thrilled. I go. If I arrive late at night, I still go if anything is open. So I arrived in Spokane in the middle of the afternoon. I had time before my lecture. I look up cigar lounge. I see the name of a lounge. It's just 35 minutes away. I'll travel happily 35 minutes to smoke a cigar. 20 minutes into my trip, I have a rental car. 20 minutes into my trip, guess what sign I see? You will love this. Welcome to Idaho. And I put 2 and 2 together.
Yes.
You cannot smoke in the whole state of Washington in a cigar lounge.
Yes.
Talk about telling people how to live their lives.
Oh, well, last but not least, I've been yelling about secondhand smoke not being a first-hand killer for 25 years into a microphone, and a whole big story just came out the other week that no significant health damage.
I got to see that. Stuff. Oh, you got to send that to me.
I got to get to you.
I said it from the beginning.
I've always said it. And they even invented third-hand smoke.
That's right.
It's nuts. They did it with that. They did it with COVID. And yes, they want control. And pardon me, I don't trust them anymore.
Correct.
All right, Denis, always a pleasure to speak to you. I know you have to hightail it to the airport. Denis Prager, the Denis Prager Show. It's Monday through Friday. It's 9 a.m. to 11 out here, but you can just get Just
well,
download.
Pragertopia, you can listen to all of it anytime without commercial. But anything, yeah, and also PragerU.
PragerU. And listen, if you have someone who doesn't believe you about certain subjects, go ahead and show them a 5-minute PragerU video. It'll help.
Thank you.
Always great to see you, my friend. Home Chef drowning in a sea of meal kit options. It's like a bad dating game show gone awry. Contestants all look the same. You don't want that. Home Chef. Fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes delivered to your doorstep. Over 30 options a week covering a variety of dietary needs. I got the creamy spinach artichoke stuffed chicken with the garlic Brussels sprouts. I could taste it. Mouth is watering right now. It was delicious. Artichoke, underrated, man. Classic kits with pre-portioned ingredients, speedy recipes ready in less than 30 minutes, oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients and microwave meals in minutes. Save an average of $86 per month from going to the grocery store. That's right. You don't get out of that grocery store without paying an arm and a leg these days. Home Chef even has a delicious, kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options each week. So picky eaters, well, they approve. It's Home Chef, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals, plus free dessert for life, and of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/Adam. That's homechef.com/Adam for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard that right. Homechef.com/Adam. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Morgan & Morgan, life can be crazy sometimes, and one person's negligence can result in another's settlement. So let's hope that if anything happens to you, you get hold of Morgan & Morgan. If you're ever injured, check out our good friends Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. And as long as we're in the more department, more than $20 billion with a B dollars recovered for over 500,000 plus clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting and getting you full and fair compensation. Going on the road, doing stand-up every weekend, well, that can be hard. But submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan, that's easy. So go with Morgan & Morgan, right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and parts and knowledge that you need to maintain all the repairs and keep your car running smoothly. I've always been a fan of O'Reilly. I remember when I lived up in La Crescenta in my rented house with all my roommates, and I'd work on my Isuzu Trooper, and then later on my Toyota Supra. And I would go up to the O'Reilly up on Foothill. That's where I got all my know-how and I got all my parts. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in the store or online, so you're never in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free, and they'll do it in or out of your car, so you can bring it in or you don't have to pull it out of your car. They'll come out and do it in the parking lot. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fix, quick service? They'll help you find the right part, or they'll point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. So whether you're a car aficionado or you're a novice, you get with O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, and best of all, they are friendly, and you can do it online or you can go in. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
And now, Alcoa presents Definitely Not a Jew on the Adam Carolla Show. Dateline, Frankfurt, Kentucky.
Kentucky. A 76-year-old man who served as a Kentucky state senator died when he accidentally drove his riding lawnmower into an empty swimming pool. Definitely not a Jew.
Oh, Mayhem's got news, but I looked down at my paper and something reminded me of something. I go around and I keep a running list of least favorite guys.
All right.
Guys I couldn't hang with.
Damn, who made the list?
This guy. I landed in Vegas, was waiting to get picked up at McCarran a week ago. Guy picks his wife up. He's got some little shitty dog that, of course, is entitled Narcissist Wife Traveled on the airplane and through the airport. The notion that somebody may be sitting next to you and coach and not want to suck up your dog farts and dander is outlandish to them. That's off the table. He then picks her up in the SUV. It's crowded. People are trying to find a spot to pick people up on the curb. She takes her time, puts the luggage, he greets her, puts the dog, puts her in the car. They pull forward like 10 feet, and then they stop, and he sits there with the dog on his lap in a crowded airport while people are trying to get in and out and pick people up at the curb, puts it in park, and then has a party with the dog like Charlie Brown and Snoopy would do. The dog's licking his face. He's loving the dog's, and I'm just watching him the whole time. If I had a rock, I would have thrown it at his car and went, get the fuck out of here. Go. There's other people who are trying to pick people up, and you're being reunited with your fucking dog.
Oh, he was saying hello to the dog.
Yeah, saying hello. She traveled on the flight through the airport, the narcissist couple, and then he just parked his car and he was just like, yeah, I got my dog, and licking. Come on, Peanut. Come on, Peanut. Licking. And I'm like, everyone, get the fuck out of the airport, and then if you want to pull over by the side of the road when you get to Desert Springs or Wayne Newton Boulevard and butt fuck your dog, then do it. But don't do it at the airport. We're waiting to get in. There's other people who exist who would like to come in and pick people up. I know you're happy to see your dog. Do it at home, bro.
I don't know. Maybe they have an OnlyFans.
That's a good point. All right, what do you got?
Mayhem celebrity reporter Kristin Cavallari. Britney Spears asked for my number over a clone conspiracy. Yeah, this is outside of my expertise because this is definitely like a chick story. But Kristin Cavallari has revealed that Britney Spears reached out to her, but it wasn't for casual girl talk. Turns out the singer had something to say after catching the comment she made.
We have a clip?
Got a clip.
Who died? What happened? Like, I can't, my heart can't take it. And he goes, guess who wants your phone number? And I went, who? Britney fucking Spears. And I'm going, what? Okay, if you didn't listen to the last episode Justin and I did, my big thing was Kanye West, I think, is a clone. But also I said, Britney is not Britney. So Britney obviously caught wind of that. There is a part of me that is like, I don't really want to talk about this stuff because there is a little part of me that is scared. I'm not going to lie. Britney sent me a text. Oh, it's her clone. I would love to read it.
It was like, no, that's Britney Spears.
Only a clone would say something like that. I get a call from...
All right. This is a chick thing, right?
Yes.
I've never thought about
I've heard
clones.
people say, hey, do you know if Kanye is a clone or not? And I'm like, what? Why?
Here's my thing. Certain theories, conspiracy theories, are dude thing.
Yep.
There's octagon thing.
Yes.
And then there's safe space.
Safe space.
Clone
Yep.
is safe space. That's chick thing. I've never heard a dude, but flat earthers are all men.
Yep.
But women, it's actually not that they don't believe in the conspiracy of the flat earther. I think a lot of them just think it's flat anyway. I don't think for us it's a conspiracy theory. For them, it's just how they view it.
Just the way things are.
Just the way things are. So I would like, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I would want more or less Kanye's.
I mean, I'm going with a clone army of Kanye's personally. I think that we could be unstoppable if I had one platoon of Kanye's.
What about his super skinny girlfriend who wears nothing every time they go out?
I think they're getting a divorce, but I would take a few clones of her too.
I've heard they're back out. They're in Japan. Are back in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Also weird that he dresses like the Michelin Man and she dresses like she's on a float in Carnival,
butt naked.
But it's weird, right? He's wearing gloves and a dickie, and like I can't. There's no skin exposure, and then she's naked. People don't really know what to do with naked. You know, like she walks into stores and stuff, and they just kind of look at her and. They don't know what to do.
I think the standard is if nips covered, vag covered, technically you're wearing clothes for a woman. If I roll around with a little bit of scrotum showing.
Vag short for vagine?
Yeah, vagine.
A little scrotum and you're judged.
Yeah, a little scrotum and I'm out. I'm in doing 3 to 5 at Chino.
I'm trying to think of... Also, it seems so uncomfortable and possibly cold all the time for her to walk around. Yeah, they're just in Japan at a McDonald's.
Naked chicks have superpowers. You don't know that? They just walk around however they want, and then they feel fine. Oh, what?
Also, what? So the thing about Kanye is if he's looking to slide under the radar when he goes out, don't have a chick who's essentially a bass lure who's forcing everyone to turn and see her double Ds that are hanging out and then realize it's Kanye standing next to her. You know what I'm saying?
A beacon of tits out.
I would spot her first and then go, it's Kanye. But I guess Kanye wants to be seen.
I wouldn't even notice Kanye, to be honest.
You wouldn't just notice her?
Yeah.
So she's back to wearing not much, and they're eating...
Yeah,
they're Japanese. Strategy. Now, do you guys know, like in Japan, they have like a Big Mac, but it has an egg on it?
Yeah.
Or some seaweed salsa or something.
They do.
And they have tempura.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Where are we on this? I kind of like, I want just fucking McDonald's.
Well, no, that's the thing. You can get regular ass McDonald's. They just do have, the gentle differences.
I don't like the option.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, culture. We've imported our culture and foisted it upon you, and you shall consume our culture or not.
Well, here's the menu for McDonald's, as they call it.
This is but here's what I'm saying. This is like the bilingual preschool teacher. I don't want it. Tough shit. This is our language, bitch. Learn it.
But wait a minute. You're saying that McDonald's has to go and not conform?
That's right.
Everyone to conform to McDonald's.
McDonald's is McDonald's.
Oh, I see.
It was invented here.
Yeah.
And when we export it, they get our American version of McDonald's.
Now you're talking anti-capitalistic. You got to make that money. And if they want filet of fish teriyaki style, we're giving them filet of fish teriyaki.
Let me tell you, there's examples of it going the other direction. Panda Express was fine dining in Tokyo. They moved to La Crescenta where me and my kids, and they didn't touch the menu. It's a lot. Just all the same.
I'm going to have to disagree with you
I don't know. That's the way I heard it.
Panda Express is the whitest Chinese food, and it's Chinese, by the way. It's the whitest Chinese food I ever ate.
Oh. Beef bowl? Shit, what is that one? Is that Chinese?
Vietnamese.
Oh, all right. I don't know.
I'm an expert at this. Moving on, the New York Times admits woke ideology is losing its grip on the country. Yeah. News analysis over the weekend. Woke ideology peaked in the aftermath of the death of George Floyd in 2020 and has largely dissipated this election cycle.
Well, they keep trying to foist everything on everyone, and it doesn't work. And then also, a lot of these companies are dropping their DEI stuff because it's expensive and it doesn't really work, and you don't get the best and the brightest when you just announce I need 3 of these and 2 of those and 4 gay guys and 5 black chicks. Yeah. How's it ever going to work? It's weirdly that's it, and it's a strange DEI experiment, and we'll see what happens. But we're right in the test tube or the petri dish, as it were, which is Kamala Harris should not have been the vice president.
Yeah.
But she was affirmative action hire.
Yeah.
Biden, because he's a race hustler, said, I will have a woman of color. I'll have a black woman.
Yeah, I remember
so
this.
that's the only person that can run, which significantly narrowed the field. If you just said, I'm McLaren and I have an F1 team, but the only drivers I'll be looking at is females of color, you would probably shrink the possible drivers of your F1 car down to a small group. And you know what would happen? You would not get the fastest driver. It would be, it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it is not likely at all. And it would be the same thing if you said the kicker for my football team or the free safety for my football team or the guy who's batting fourth on the Dodgers, whatever it is. You might get the greatest black female slugger in the world, but it probably wouldn't work out. And it wouldn't work out the other direction. If the Lakers said our mandate is to start 3 white players because
preferably Jews.
Preferably Jewish. Look, we'll shoehorn an Asian in there because look at the people at the game. It's predominantly white. Yeah. We need that representation on the court. Lakers would not win a lot more games.
I know.
Okay, so this is understood. So we did a DEI hire in a vice president. She was, by all accounts, horrible. That her approval rating was through the floorboards. Nobody liked her. Lots of staff fired. And the press, even the mainstream press, sort of agreed. She was bad at her job. She was put in charge of the border. She didn't do a good job. So nobody liked her. And then her boss, had an aneurysm. And now he's gone. And now the press had to fire up again and all of a sudden love her because they want her to get elected. But it could be very possible that this super unqualified DEI hire is running the most powerful nation in the world because of this.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's now abandoning that kind of woke talk. She doesn't do the pronoun thing anymore. Yeah, it's a brand new time. The DEI is gone the way of the dodo. The woke stuff, I guess it just kind of lost its luster, I would say. And 4 years ago, it was the hottest thing. And I guess the talking points
it's like
just fizzled.
All this shit is like a boy band. And that if everyone is really good and they work real hard and they stick together, then they could have a career for 30 years. But if not, people will turn the page and move on. If you saying, listen, we need to call Latinos Latinx or Latinx, and I went, that makes sense, then it would catch on. If I go, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not going to catch on.
Yeah,
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And the problem with most their woke shit, it was all just retarded. Like, don't clap, snap.
Yeah, what the hell?
Okay, what the fuck?
Neurodivergent people?
Yeah. I'm going to be known as them. And then everything will be super confusing because when I refer to you as them, you're just one person. And then it's going to imply that there's more than one person and no one will know what the fuck anyone's talking about. The bizarre and sad part is that people go along with this shit.
They're stopping. That's the whole point of this study, is that now people just quit on that. Nobody's doing Latinx. That didn't catch on. What they did was the shotgun approach, it looks like. They try to do all these things, and maybe a couple of them stuck, but them is going the way of the dodo. It's changing. Things are changing. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah, next up, Peruvian soccer players struck by lightning on the pitch.
Oh, my God. I saw this.
One dead, several hurt.
This?
Look, I think we should just watch it. It is bizarre.
It's crazy.
They're walking along like nothing. Lightning strike, and 5 guys hit the ground. And soccer players fake a lot, but this looks real.
No, I mean, that guy got stiff as a board and just went straight down.
But what was even crazier is the other guys all around, like in a radius.
Yeah.
They exploded into just flop.
Yeah. You gotta. Was a couple thoughts. Sad young man.
Yeah.
If you gotta go, I mean, this is the way to go.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Just one day you're kicking a ball, and the next minute you're just lit up like a Christmas tree and gone. Okay.
Oh my
now
God.
Now listen.
The booth, hey, you guys are doing some craziness out there.
God.
You get the exact moment of strike. That's something else. They
it's
say
a flame.
It looks like
it looks like a guy just walked into a 9-foot tall flame.
That is the way to go.
Crazy. All right, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for a second.
All right.
If you get hit by lightning, there's got to be some thought with remaining family members. Like, I wonder if that guy was a pedophile. Now, I'm not saying he was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a little act of God, a little force majeure in there, right?
Like, how many children did he murder?
Possibly. Mm-hmm. Now, there's that side of the Jesus equation, right? The other side of the Jesus equation is the guy who gambled on the game and was down bad. Yeah. And there was 4 minutes left in the game, and boom, suspended, a push, no payday, no reschedule. That guy has to feel like he's touched by God versus the person's hit by lightning, which is smoten.
Smite me?
Smited. By God.
Yeah, he smoted him for sure. They say he was wearing like a metal bracelet or something.
Martha Stewart says she's been struck by lightning 3 times. Which normally I would say she's lying, but that bitch spends so much time in the garden with a fucking rake over her head. There's no doubt she's been singled out. Can you find that did anyone watch her doc?
I just saw it. I didn't watch it yet. Yeah, I saw the preview for it. I was like, hell yeah.
Early on, I think like minute 8, fairly early in the hour and a half doc. It's interesting. She is talking about her husband having an affair, and she gives a message to the ladies out there about men having an affair and how they shouldn't tolerate it and so on and so forth. And then something really insane ensues, which made me realize that I kind of like her, but she's an insane narcissist. And it's a crazy clip. If we find it, we're able to find it, I'll share it with you. But it's also kind of crazy. I also want to speak to the subject that when women, well, I'll look at Joe Prano, who's a sports guy, and I'll also look at Mayhem here. Women always do this thing. Like Ellen's special is like, I'm not allowed to be a tough boss because I'm a woman. And when a guy does it, he's assertive and he's forthright and he knows what he wants and he's a perfectionist. When a woman does it, she's a bitch. And my girlfriend was pointing that out. And I then pointed out, no, it's Ellen pretending to be nice and being a bitch. That's what we don't like. I said, there's a guy in baseball, a team owner. His name is George Steinbrenner. He owned the Yankees, and he was a world-class asshole, and everyone knew it. And there was a Seinfeld episode about it, and everyone knows Steinbrenner's an asshole. Okay. Also, there was another female team owner, Marge Schott.
Yeah.
She was an asshole.
Yeah.
Nobody gave her shit. We just knew she was a bitch. And nobody liked her, but it's like, yeah, it's Marge Schott. She's a grumpy, bitchy, rich bitch who owns the Cincinnati Reds. And then there is George Steinbrenner, who's got a penis, and he's an asshole. What we don't like is if Marge Schott pretended to be nice and then we found out she was a bitch. You just wear it. We'll leave you alone.
It's like the Trump effect, kind of. He just is his authentic self all the time, so we don't mind that he does this or does that.
Yeah,
that's Trump.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg's got a little of that working. Yeah. You know, just who he is.
If you just like smear yourself in a cloak of authenticity, just this is who I am.
You have to be it though. Like you have to live it.
Yeah.
You can fool, Ellen fooled the shit out of everyone for a long time, but at some point it'll catch up to you.
The cracks.
The cracks will show. Is that online anywhere, that thing?
The Martha thing?
Yeah.
We've got her documentary up and we're scrubbing it. I watched the first half, so I know where it is. We should have it momentarily.
Is it like 8 minutes in, or is that my recollection?
15.
Oh, is it 15?
I'm going to say ballpark.
Okay. It is a great clip. And when people act this way, even though I make fun of them, it's all from jealousy. I wish I could just stare down the barrel of a camera and say a bunch of shit that would never happen and stand by it.
Yeah.
I really do. And feel good about myself.
Wait, what do you mean the jealousy? People are jealous.
When I see people do things like somebody will cut in front of somebody in line and the person behind will tap on the shoulder and go, "Excuse you, I was waiting in line." I look at him and I go, I get jealous of that person because I would just stand there. I wouldn't say anything.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I might, there's a 20% chance I might, if the person was like real blatant about it, but if it's clear they didn't know what was going on and just slid in front or something, I'd just sit there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with it. And also, I wouldn't want to deal with the confrontation and, whatever it is. I'd hang out.
I see what you're saying.
I'm jealous of the assertive people.
Yeah, I like confrontation. I end up arguing with everybody. Sometimes I will avoid confrontation because I'm afraid that I'll be too confrontational. Then I'll get into some shenanigans. But most of the time, I ain't got no problem with that.
Well, that's where we part ways, my friend. Yeah, she was sitting down. It was during the sit-down interview part, Joe, if you recall.
Wait, and set this up. She's talking about...
She's being interviewed for her doc.
Yeah.
She explains that her first husband, was having numerous affairs.
Oh, yeah.
She then tells all the women watching that he's a piece of shit and you don't need to put up with this shit.
Yeah.
She put up with it. You don't need to. If your man is cheating, he's a piece of shit and you don't need to put up with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the rest I won't divulge because that would be me stepping on something. And we'll see when Joe finds it. He'll make an announcement. So you think it's about 15 in? That sounds about, it could be about right.
We're still looking for it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's like earlier on. We found a monogamy part and a being faithful to him. But I know the exact exchange you're looking for.
Okay. Well, you can do one more Mayhem.
Oh, yeah, no problem. A nonprofit accuses them, UC Berkeley, of biased research that downplays damage of California's $20 minimum wage.
Well, this is more safe space bullshit. So what you do is you go, we need to raise the minimum wage because it needs to be. First thing you do is you start changing the name of everything. These aren't homeless people. These are unhoused people. These aren't illegal aliens. They're undocumented migrants.
Yeah.
This isn't a minimum wage. It's a living wage. It has to be a living wage. And so you go, what the hell is wrong with these people who are down on the economic totem pole? And they always invent something. She's a mother of 3. She's in her 40s. She works hard. What's wrong with her making enough money to take care of her family? So then you get to walk away being a better person.
Yeah.
The problem is McDonald's is going to lay her off and they're going to stop hiring people. And big picture, guess who's not going to build in Los Angeles or California where this minimum wage has been raised up to $20.
McDonald's.
Right. All of them are going to leave.
Yeah.
So now you have a safe space idea, but you got a problem. Yeah. And so what they do is they come up with a shit idea. Then they enlist experts to back up their idea with some sort of data. 51 former intelligence experts called Hunter Biden's laptop Russian collusion.
Yeah.
They called it a Russian plant. Okay. Thank you, experts. Now you've made your point, except for they were wrong, and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
So you go, I want to do this thing. Big Tobacco used to do it.
Yeah.
Nicotine's not addictive.
Yeah.
It
Smoking
isn't?
doesn't hurt
Seems
you.
like it is. Oh, no. We got scientists.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't.
Yeah, the activists and academics ignore the best available data methods for methods that prove their predetermined conclusions. EPI Research Director Rebecca Paxton.
You don't need any research. You just go raise it to $20 and people are going to stop hiring and they're going to automate and they're going to have kiosks and they're going to have Flippy the robot doing the burgers and there's going to be no more high school kids getting a first job at McDonald's. And oh my God, but imagine if they did this when Kamala Harris was working at that McDonald's over there.
Yeah, the Burger King's Big Fish meal surged 53% in California.
Price-wise?
Yeah, price-wise.
Well, the other part is the poor people. The poor people who eat at McDonald's can't afford this shit. Back to Panda Express. I was talking to my guys, poor Mexican guys at the shop the other day. I mean, they get paid pretty good, but they're not living high on the hog.
Yeah.
They eat at Panda Express. They get a big thing of food for,
cheap, yeah.
Yeah, I remember taking my kids there. I was like, just the food is free. I said, I looked at, the styrofoam thing with the noodles and the beef and stuff, and they're all eating. And I go, it's gone up, huh? Well, that sets you back $14. And they go, $18.
Yeah.
I was like, shit's getting that's the cheapest food we got.
A Subway sandwich today cost me like $17.
Right.
Ridiculous.
All right, we got the Martha Stewart clip.
Oh,
I
man.
think Joe knows what I'm talking about. It's a good one.
Young women, listen to my advice. If you're married and you think you're happily married and your husband starts to cheat on you, he's a piece of shit. And look at him as a piece of shit and get out of it. Get out of that marriage. But I couldn't do that. Couldn't walk away.
Didn't you have an affair early on in the relationship or when you were
yeah, but I don't think Andy ever knew about that. He did?
Yes, you would confess to him.
Oh.
He says he didn't stray from the marriage until you told him you had already...
Exactly.
That's not true. I don't think.
But what happened? You had an affair?
I had a very brief affair with a very attractive Irish man. And it was just nothing. There's nothing. In terms of, I would never have broken up a marriage for it. There's nothing. There's nothing.
All right. That is balls right there. So you explain to all the women watching that your husband's a piece of shit if he steps out and you need to leave. And then we find out you had an affair. And then you say it was after he had an affair, but it turns out it was before he had his affair. And then you just keep explaining it was nothing. His was a big deal. Yours was nothing.
But it was a very attractive Irish.
Yeah, it's a good-looking dude. I'm not even gay, and I probably would have blown that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
man.
wouldn't?
He was Conor McGregor in the looks department. That is a true sociopath there, right?
No, that's just like a woman. Like, if I do it, that's
All
how
right.
it is.
You know what?
No?
Yeah, we've
All
done.
right.
You've said it
All
all.
right, you're welcome.
You've said it all. All right, I'm going to be in Vegas over at Jimmy's Club coming up November 14th, and then 16th I'll be in Big Bear Lake doing stand-up there. It's a big festival. Also, they're doing some kind of it's for a charity for fire relief as well. I will be in Oxnard at doing stand-up at Levity Live November 29th, and then Houston Arena coming up doing stand-up with Craig Shoemaker and Kayvon over there. That'll be December 6th. You go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. You got anything, Manuka honey?
I mean, buy some Manuka honey. Go to my Instagram. I don't care.
All right, so until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Denis Prager and Mayhem Miller saying mahalo.